William Morrow and HarperAudio present A Monsoon Rising, a Hurricane Wars novel by Thea Guanzon, performed by Jeanne, Syquia, and Kaleo Griffith. To everyone who, honk honk, loves the library. Part 1.
Chapter 1. A breeze that spoke of snowmelt in the highlands tumbled across the barren plains and came whistling in through the lone window of the Regent's private hall. It crashed against the swirling plumes of shadow magic that drifted from stone to stone and was swallowed up by them, vanishing along with the daylight, everywhere save for one bright corner where the Saruman lay in a pool of sunbeams, pinned to the table by leather-gloved hands. The bird struggled fitfully in the grip of its three captors, issuing a plaintive warble from its twisted golden beak. Its eyes went as round as copper pieces when a fourth enchanter approached with a glass-barreled syringe, the cold glint of the hollow steel needle emerging from the darkness as its wielder walked into the nullification field. Gaheris's enchanters looked even more distressed than the Saruman. It was no easy thing to feel one's magic drain away, to suddenly have a gap in the soul where the aether used to be. Even from where he stood at a safe distance before his father's throne, Alaric's veins crawled with a memory so visceral that his gauntleted fingers twitched against the urge to open the shadow gate just to check if he still could.
"Cursed beast spends its every waking moment singing."
The growl from the dagger-shaped throne threaded through the Saruman's melodious wails.
"Even if your time in Nineveh provided no clues as to how its traits can be utilized, did you at least learn how to make it shut up?"
Alaric thought of the amplifying configuration, the circle of wires and metal glass jars laid out on the roof of heaven's marble tiles, the molten cores of ruby blood suspended in sapphire rain magic. He shook his head.
Why did I even bother to ask?
The bitter disappointment on Gaheris's face, riddled with lines and scars and fissures, was much too clear.
You sailed southeast and discovered nothing. What is the point of you, Emperor?
The Saruman's song took on a higher pitch as the needle plunged into its jugular. It was a sound like a fistful of iron nails raked along porcelain, magnified 7 times over, clawing at the pit of Alaric's stomach. But he couldn't let on that it affected him, not in front of Gaheris. The regent looked like he'd aged a decade in the 10 days since Kesath's imperial delegation returned from Nineveh, and the bird was brought to him by Commodore Mathire. He was thinner and more haggard, deep circles carved into the weathered skin under the gray eyes that were so much like Alaric's own. "Father, if the bird singing keeps you up," Alaric ventured, aware that Gaheris took the Saruman everywhere he went, "perhaps it can stay in this hall when you retire for the night."
"So that every loose-lipped scullery maid and dim-witted stable boy in the citadel can blather on about this priceless advantage that we now possess?"
Gaheris struck the armrest of his throne, and the tendrils of shadow surrounding him flared ever higher, fueled by his wrath, his paranoia.
"You spout nonsense about my health when we should be discussing your wife."
Spooked by the regent's outburst, the enchanters hurried through the rest of their task, transferring the syringeful of Saruman blood into a corked vial, applying herbal disinfectant to the extraction site, and ushering the beast back into its ornamental brass cage. They bowed to Gaheris, and then to Alaric, before fleeing the hall, the shadow gate nipping at their heels.
"Attend to me, my son,"
Gaheris rumbled once he and Alaric were alone.
"After the moonless dark, the Light Weaver's magic will have served its purpose. There will likewise be no further need for this pretense at peace with Nineveh. We must strike."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?